Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hello, my name is V. I post nail tutorials every Thursday and Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss out on future videos, as I do insert giveaways in them randomly. I'm bringing you guys another sculpted set. I only have one other video on sculpted nails on my channel, so if you guys are interested, check that out. I am going to be sharing with you guys exactly how I transitioned from my short almond nails that I did on my previous video to my long birthday nails. I'm really excited to be sharing this with you guys because I know you guys have been asking for videos similar to this, so I hope you guys learn from it. These are my methods and I hope they help you guys a ton. Make sure you guys watch the entire video, as I am going to be asking you guys a question and I'm going to be doing a giveaway for today's video. The winner will be announced on my next video, so make sure you are tuning in every Thursday and Sunday. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Getting right into today's video, I'm just showing you my short almond nails that I did previously. If you missed that video, go ahead and check it out. I go in depth on my short nail application. So here I'm going in and I'm taking my e-file. This is a Kiara Sky rechargeable e-file and I have it at a speed of about 8,000 RPMs. And along with my e-file, I am using my 5-in-1 bit, and I believe that is in medium grit. I'm just going in and gently removing the shine off of the nail along with the design that I have currently on my nails, very gently and continuously moving around the nail, making sure that it is not going to heat spike. So when I'm doing a lengthier process like this, I do like to cut the process down as much as possible. So I realized I didn't have to file off the full design because I'm going to be cutting them down. So instead of filing off the design first, I went ahead and started cutting off the tips because I do want that length to be as short as possible. So I'm just taking my nail clippers and doing that very gently. So I'm taking my Kiara Sky e-file once again with that same bit, and I'm going to go ahead and start debulking the nails. So this is what I technically call a backfill. Instead of just filling in the growth of the natural nail, I'm going to be completely basically starting from scratch. I still have product on the nail. However, I'm going to make it as flat as possible, so when I go in with my new product, it's not super bulky, it's not thick, and I have that structure that I need for the length. So what I like to do is take my e-file and I have control over that handpiece by resting my pinky on my thumb, and then I'm making sure that I'm gripping onto it, and then I'm moving my way around the nail, making sure that I'm not hurting the client, I'm not heat spiking that product. I'm doing this gently but with enough pressure that it's going to remove the product quickly. So I go around the cuticle very gently, and then I start debulking the rest of the product by just moving back and forth. So if you are not familiar with my e-filing process, make sure you check that video out. I go really in depth on exactly how to e-file. I think a lot of new nail techs make the mistake of staying in one spot for too long or going back and forth without lifting your handpiece off of that nail bed. And that unfortunately does cause a heat spike, which if you have not done that to yourself or a client, it hurts really, really bad. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. You want to remove this product effectively, efficiently, and without hurting your client. I think that's the most important thing. So if done effectively, this process is done quickly. It took me about 5 minutes to remove the product off of this hand. So it doesn't take very long. Obviously, the thicker the nails are, the longer the process is going to take. But for the most part, this is really, really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys watch the rest of my pinky. Once I'm done removing most of the product, I'm going in and using my hand file. This is a Tammy Taylor peel and stick file. I have it linked in my Amazon storefront. And I'm going in and reshaping those nails because I just did a blunt cut. So I am making sure that it's nice and round. And then I'm going gently over the surface of the nail, just making sure that the free edge is nice and smooth. For when I go in with my acrylic application, it blends nicely. And I do want to make it as thin as possible, especially in that area, so everything adheres really well. So that's basically what I'm doing, reshaping the nails and then making sure that that surface is nice and flat. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start my prep process for my natural nail bed. This is when I want to remove any lifting that I might have. I do have very minimal lifting. I don't go very long in between my sets or my fills. I do try to thoroughly do my prep so I don't get a lot of lifting. So that is very minimal. I'm just going in and I don't push back the cuticles with a cuticle pusher just because I like to do everything with my e-file. That's my comfort zone and it works just as effective as a cuticle pusher does. On this nail, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can tell that I'm pushing it back with my handpiece. So right there, as you can see, the left side is a lot lower than my right side. That's basically what it would look like if I pushed it back with my cuticle pusher. So as you can see, I'm pushing it gently upwards and that effectively pushes back the cuticle while removing the shine of the natural nail and removing any lifting that I have. I don't know why this is so satisfying to me, but seeing that cuticle just kind of disappear and everything blend super nice, it's definitely one of those things that's like oddly satisfying to me. Now for my favorite prep bits, it has to go to my needle bit and my ball bit. I'll show you that a little bit later, but this is my needle bit. You can find them on Amazon. It comes in a pack of 3. I've mentioned it before in one of my other videos, so make sure you guys look at all my beginner nail tech videos. I am using this around the cuticle area. This helps get rid of any dead skin that you might have left behind with that mandrel bit. This is kind of important because even though you are removing a lot of it with that mandrel bit, you do still miss some, as you can tell. Now, once any loose skin is kind of pushed up with that needle bit, I'm going in with my ball bit and removing that off of the cuticle area. I'm not a fan of cuticle nippers, they just terrify me, so I use this instead. It is extremely fine, so you will not hurt yourself or your client if you use this. I am using it at a speed of about 4,000 RPMs, and I don't necessarily like to go any higher than that because it's really not necessary. And I do believe the faster you get it, the less control you have of it, and the more likely you are to hurt yourself or your client. Now for the star of today's video, I found these amazing forms on Amazon. So I always like to look for products that are easily available for anyone to purchase. And these right here, I saw them and I was like, they're so long and they look perfect. They look nice and sturdy. The reviews were good on them. So of course I ordered them and here I am trying them out for you guys. I am taking my lint-free wipe and some swipe and cleansing the surface of the nail. I'm not going to be doing my typical prep where I would immediately place the protein bond after my swipe. I'm going to go ahead and start applying my form onto my nail. The reason behind why I'm not placing protein bond or primer onto my natural nail is because if it does leak into my sidewalls or anything, it can mess up the form from adhering to your finger. So I want to make sure that it's placed correctly on my finger. It's nice and snug and it's not going anywhere. And then I'm going to go ahead and prep my nail. So I went ahead and removed that little center of it, placed it on the back just to give it a little bit more structure and strength. And then I rolled it a little bit so it can fold nicely. And then I'm just going ahead and pinching it from the tip and then moving my way up and kind of just sticking it together so it's nice and snug on my nail. Once it's placed on there and it's nice and snug, now I'm taking my protein bond from Young Nails and applying a thin coat of that onto just my natural nail. And then once it's dry, I'm going in with my acrylic application process. Notice how I only primed that one nail. I am going nail by nail. Now if I was able to apply all of the forms, I would go ahead and do that. But when I'm working on myself, I like to just do one single finger at a time. So I did take a large bead of acrylic, place that on the free edge where the natural nail meets the form, and then I started forming it out. You want to make sure everything is nice and snug. I'm going to go more in detail with the other nails since I did start a little bit late on this one. But I'm just using very light pressure, tons of patting motions, dragging it down into the shape that I want. I want to have my shape down as crisp as possible since the beginning so I don't have to do extreme filing at the end. It can be quite time consuming if I don't do this, especially with sculpted nails. So now I'm just adding a little bead of acrylic at the tip, just making sure that the shape is the shape that I want. Continuing to kind of pat it into place, push it up into the shape that I want. And like I said, trying to make that as perfect as possible. And I do have a harder time working on my thumb because they are larger and I forget that they are bigger than the rest of my nails. So I tend to use small beads, which means it takes me longer to do them. And I'm just gently pushing that up into the cuticle, making sure that I'm holding my finger downwards so that the product flows down instead of into the cuticle area. And then once I have, for the most part, that smooth base, now is when I'm going to start adding the extra thickness that I want, trying to build up that apex. So as you can see, it was a little bit sunken in that middle section, so I'm just adding another bead. Now I'm taking another form and I'm going to go ahead and remove that little circle part, place it on the back, roll it so it's a little bit more flexible, and then I'm going to start pinching it, kind of pressing it together, and then I'm going to start applying that onto my index finger. So you want to try to get it as straight as possible. I know for me, my index finger is a little bit crooked, so I try to make it as straight as possible, and then I seal it together once it's nice and snug. I like to turn my hand around just because it's easier for my application. Once I'm done with that, I'm going in with my protein bond and priming that natural nail area. So here I'm taking a medium-sized bead of acrylic and I'm placing that on the free edge of the nail, and then I am gently blending it up towards the natural nail, and then immediately after that I'm going in and pushing the sides up so that I start getting the shape that I want. It's going to automatically start dripping over the sides. That's just the natural reaction of acrylic powder. So I'm going and making sure that I'm starting to shape it into the shape that I want, making sure that the sides are super straight. As you can see, that didn't take too much effort. I didn't fast forward this so you guys can see the full process, and it's already starting to be nice and square. Once I'm done with that, I am adding a little bit extra length because you guys know that I like my nails super long. And so I am just going in with another bead, placing that at the tip where the other product ended, blending it up into that product, and then again I'm going to be patting it into shape, making sure that everything is nice and straight and it's not overflowing. And I do try to keep that as flat as possible as my base. Now that I'm content with the length, the shape, and all of that, I'm going to go ahead and go in with a large bead of acrylic, place it near the natural nail, and then start building out the thickness of the nail. As you can see, I am just blending it up into the natural nail and then blending it down towards the tip. I'm trying to cover as much surface in one go as possible. And then as needed, I'll just go in and add more acrylic. And of course, clean up any spills over the side that you might have. Now I'm going in and adding a small bead of acrylic near the cuticle area, gently pushing it up. And I failed to have my finger downwards, so it did spill a little bit, but no worries. I'm using the tip of my brush to gently clean that up, and problem fixed. You do want to keep your spillage at a minimal because this can cause lifting. I mean, I've gotten it down to where I don't get lifting even if it does spill because I kind of know how to clean it now, but I know at the beginning it is hard to prevent that if you do get spillage. So now I'm taking another form and I'm going to go ahead and start applying that onto my middle finger. I like to work finger to finger just because it's easier since the forms are long. I went ahead and removed the thumb as soon as it was dry, and I'm going to be doing that same with my index finger. Once it's fully dry, I go ahead and remove it and continue to work on my middle finger. Again, placing that into the free edge of my nail, pinching the tip, and then I'm going to start squeezing it together. Once it's nice and snug, I go ahead and close it up. It does probably take me a little longer than it would for pros with sculpts to place these on there. So by the time I got done, my index finger was nice and dry. So I'm going ahead and gently removing that, and voila. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my middle finger just where the natural nail bed is exposed. And then again, I'm going in with my acrylic application, a medium-sized bead. You can also use large-sized bead, just depends on how you like to work. I like to work with a thin base layer just to start off. because like that I can really get the shape into the shape that I want without having to worry about too much extra product. Once you get the hang of sculpting, it's really easy, and like I said, I love the look of it. I'm still not a pro at it because I haven't done it consistently. I'm not the best at it, but I do really enjoy it. It is such a different look. It just looks so much cleaner in my opinion. Again, after applying that form onto my nail, you make sure it's nice and secured. I'm going in and priming. And then I'm actually going to be doing clear on the tip for my ring finger and my pinky. The reason why I'm doing this is to just be a little bit different. I'm always so boring with my nude, and I know clear doesn't make it any different, but I kind of just wanted to give it a little extraness. So I'm going in and doing the exact same process, but with my clear. I will say that sculpting with extremely clear acrylic is so hard for me. I can't see anything, and I have really good eyesight, so it's just because it's so translucent, it's kind of really hard. You're going to be able to notice at the end how different my application is with my nude and how it looks with my clear. It was kind of funny whenever I took the forms off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same process, except with this one, because I don't want the free edge of the nail showing. I always like to conceal that area. I don't think it looks cute, so in order to conceal that, all I'm doing is taking a little bit of that nude acrylic, and I'm going to be applying that where the free edge is, blending it down into the clear, and then of course covering the nail bed as well with that. So for this step, I am taking a very small bead of that nude acrylic, and I'm just blending it up towards the cuticle area, and then I'm going to be blending it down into that clear acrylic that I pre-applied. And I'm not being super precise with this ombre because all I want to do is conceal that free edge, and I am also going to be doing nail art on top, so it's not extremely necessary to be super perfect with it. Then I'm just adding a bead into the cuticle area. Hold your finger down and make sure that it flows down into the tip of the nail and not the cuticle. So once I'm done with that mini ombre, I'm going in with my clear acrylic and I'm going to be adding that extra thickness to it. This helps encapsulate that ombre as well as adding the structure that you need. So my pinky, whenever I'm sculpting, apparently is really hard to film as well because I get cramps and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I did get out of frame and you guys kind of saw most of it. So I did end up cutting off part of the footage because it was no good. Once everything is dry, I go ahead and remove all of the forms if I had any left. Now I'm going in with my peel and stick file from Tammy Taylor. And I'm going in and filing my nails. I like to hand file sculpted nails. I don't know why, but it's just easier for me. I have more control over it versus a file, and I definitely don't want to do any nicks into that acrylic that I might possibly need to fix later. So I'm just going in on the sides, making sure that it is nice and straight. And like I said, I like to do my application process as neat as possible so I don't have too much filing. You're going to see on my ring finger and my pinky how much more filing I need to do because I couldn't see what I was doing and there was a lot of acrylic spilled over the sides that I was not aware of. Yeah, here you can definitely tell how I had spillage over the sides that I was not aware of, but that's fine. I'm going in with my hand file still and just making sure that everything is nice and straight. I did use a little bit more pressure with that hand file just to remove more of that faster, but it was fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same process on the rest of the nails and kind of just let you guys watch. So who else can relate with their pinky cramping up? I had to stop for a little bit. You see me shaking my hand off because it was cramping up and it was not fine. I kind of wiggled my wrist a little bit and continued to file. I don't know why. I guess because I don't have that extra support from an additional finger on my pinky. It definitely cramps up a lot. Now once I'm done with filing the majority of my nails, I like to go around the cuticle with my e-file. I do this with my 5-in-1 bit. I have it at about 6,000 RPMs, and all I'm doing is lightly blending the acrylic to the natural nail bed. You definitely want that to be nice and flush. If you have it way too high, it can cause lifting. So you want it to be as flush as possible, and that's basically what I'm doing with this one. Very, very gently, and I do that easily with the 5-in-1 bit as well. Now we are going to be buffing the nails, and I am using my sponge buffer from Profiles Backstage for this step. I'm just using light pressure on that. It's super fine, the grit on this sponge buffer, so it leaves everything super, super smooth, and I love using this for this process, especially when I'm going to be doing nail art and everything has to be extremely smooth. Now I did go ahead and clean my nails. I ended up washing my nails, and then I'm going in with my nail art. So it is my birthday set, so I decided to do Virgo-inspired nails. I figured it would be kind of fun and different. I've done like Scorpio and Cancer nails on my clients, but Virgo is just not one of those, and I haven't really seen any online, so I was like, hey, why not? So for this nail, I am going to be using my gel paint and drawing on the symbol of Virgo. I'm actually doing a few of those on this nail, and I am kind of randomly placing them, and I do want it to be like the main focus of this nail. So I'm drawing quite a few of those on there. I tried to stay out of the frame when it came to drawing, but I got it out of focus a little bit, but you guys kind of get the gist of it. So I'm just showing you guys exactly how I draw that. I am using a gel paint that has tacky layer, and this is important because I'm going to be using my loose pigments for this design. I am obsessed with those pigments. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've been using them a ton. They're easier to work with, I guess, when it comes to not needing as much supplies. You just need a white gel paint and then go in with your pigments after that, and they are super vibrant, super pretty. And you don't have to worry about having all those neon colored gel paints. So I did cut it off after this, and then you're going to kind of see snippets of what it looks like after I drew them. Now that I'm done with that, I'm placing it in the light for about 30 seconds. I want to make sure that it is cured, but I still want that tacky layer on there, so do not wipe it off. I'm going in directly with my neon pigments. These are from Profiles Backstage, and I'm going to be pressing that firmly into that tacky layer. I'm going to be using the neon pink, neon orange, yellow, and green. And so I started off with the pink, moved on to the orange, then yellow and green, kind of creating a pattern. And then at the end, I think I added another pink one as well. And you guys are more than welcome to mix two colors to make a specific color. I've definitely mixed orange and pink to make more of a peachy color. You can mix yellow and green to make a brighter green. You can mix whatever you want to do different colors, so don't forget about that as well. Now I'm using this tiny little fan brush just to dust it off. I don't want any of the pigments to fall into a different little symbol because I don't want them to be blended. I want each symbol to be a different color. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going ahead and placing my gel top coat on top of it. The reason why I'm doing this now is because I want to protect it from messing it up. A lot of the time I'll get way too into what I'm doing and then I'll smudge stuff. So quick little tip, if you don't want to ruin one nail while you're working on another one, just go ahead and place some top coat on there, cure it in the light, and move on. Now I'm moving on to my pinky. Like I said, going into this design, I had no idea what the heck I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do neon for the last time for this year. So I started doing a V, and I was actually going to be doing just what I did on the middle finger onto the pinky as well. So I was going to do a bunch of V's kind of randomly on the nail. And then I was like, people are probably going to think I'm doing a V for my name. So instead, I went ahead and wrote the word Virgo on the side of the nail. It fit very well, and I do like how it ended up turning out. Now again, once I'm done, pop that in the light, cure it for 30 seconds, and then I'm going in with my pigments once again. And again, I'm placing my Gloss-It top coat over that surface, curing it in the light just so I don't ruin it. While doing this design, I went finger by finger. I had no idea what I was doing. I keep saying that, but I really didn't know. So because I knew it was going to take me forever to decide what I wanted to do, that's why I'm top coating those nails. I know I was going to get into things. I know I was going to dig through stuff. So just to make sure that I didn't mess them up, that's why I'm sealing them right now. So I ended up going with crystals for my index finger and my ring finger. So I'm taking my jewelry gel and applying that in the area where I want to place my crystals. And I'm just grabbing a bunch of different crystals and placing that along the edge of it on the left side of my nail. I'm doing different sizes, different colors, and just kind of moving them around to see where they fit. Like this one, I was like, and then I moved it towards the top and I felt like it fit better. And then what I like about using jewelry gel is not only does it hold them on extremely well, but you have so much time to work with the placement of it. I know with glue, I mean, it instantly dries, so if you misplace it, you're done. Like, you gotta nip it off, you're ruining a crystal, you're wasting product, and I would just rather have that extra time to mess around with it. A lot of the time, I kind of just randomly place stuff and then go from that. So it definitely helps me. If you have obviously a specific design you already have in mind or that your client requests, then glue does kind of help, but I am very random and I'm very indecisive, so this helps me a ton. And then of course, when you're done with your placement, go ahead and cure it in the light. For my jewelry gel, I am placing it in there for a good minute so that everything is nice and stuck onto the nail. And now I'm moving on to my ring finger. Again, I'm placing a layer of that jewelry gel where I'm going to be placing the crystals. I like to cover a lot more area than what I might be placing crystals on, just to be safe. It kind of just saves a little bit of time with having to add more product on there. I'm using hints of those neon crystals because they are pretty and it goes with this set perfectly. Those are from Profiles Backstage. They are very inexpensive, so make sure you guys check them out, and I love how they look paired with the AB crystals. So again, I'm just going to kind of let you guys watch that. Once those are nice and cured, I'm going in with Glossid from Not Polish and applying top coat to the remainder of my nails. So for today's video, I am showing you guys how it looks glossy, and you want to make sure you place that into the light for at least 1 minute. I like to do 2 minutes just to make sure everything is nice and sealed. I'm gently going in the creases of those crystals just to make sure that they are nice and sealed, not only with the jewelry gel but with the top coat as well. That's kind of a quick little tip. If you guys are having problem with lifting, you can just add extra security with the gel polish. So this is what they look like, and I am adding cuticle oil to my nails, of course. This cuticle oil is from Profiles Backstage. What I love about this is that it melts into the skin and it doesn't leave that greasy look. I'm obsessed with this stuff, and not only that, but it smells so freaking amazing. So this is what they look like, shiny. I do really love how they turned out. However, you guys know I'm a sucker for some matte nails, and they look so good when taking a picture with matte. So I'm going to be showing you guys what they look like matte. Let me know down below in the comment section which you preferred, the shiny or the matte finish. You will be entered into my giveaway. I will announce the winner in my next video. But that basically concludes today's video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I will catch you guys next time. So I am taking my gel. So I'm taking my jewelry gel and applying that in the area where I want to place my crystals.